Okay, well, as live streams go, that's how live streams go. Unfortunately, our nice little timer and logo seem to have has a little bit of an issue there. But we are good to go. We are back, and I am just verifying that everybody is here. So let me bring in our two wonderful guests and see how we're doing. Okay, so let's see. Yann, can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. And Arnaud?
Of course, I can hear you.
Excellent, good. Well, so the problem I was worried about is fixed, so that's great. It means I can refresh the screen, and if we have a problem with the network, it still works. The problem is that happened before I could fix it. So I apologize that our lovely little logo there didn't work quite like we wanted it to, but you'll see it again at the end of the live stream. So what we are going to be doing today is talking about, well, a whole bunch of really cool things related to cloud computing. I think the discussion we can have will be larger on cloud computing and some of the things that Scaleway is doing, but we want to start with and center the first discussion around the launch of the Apple M1 chip and the Mac Mini, and the fact that Scaleway is the first cloud computing provider to create M1-as-a-service by putting the Apple M1 in the cloud. They beat AWS to it, and I think that's pretty cool. If you don't know Scaleway, they're one of Europe's largest cloud computing providers, one of France's historically largest web hosting and infrastructure companies. And so I have a tremendous pleasure today of being able to talk to two lovely gentlemen. We have Arnaud de Bermingham, who is the founder and president, and Yann Lechelle, who is the CEO. And I'll give you just a quick second to say hello and introduce yourselves, if you have anything that you kind of wanted to get into before we actually go there. So Arnaud, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ethan, for the organization. So I'm Arnaud de Bermingham. I'm the founder of this company. I created this company 15 years ago. Started with the bare metal servers named Dedibox. And 7 years ago, we decided to create a lab. And with this lab, we create Scaleway, the Scaleway public cloud. I'm very, very pleased to be there and to answer to all your questions. So please feel free to ask.
That's awesome. And Yann, welcome.
Thanks, Ethan. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. As for myself, well, I've been, working with computers for the best of my life. Started when I was 10 years old, and I've been an entrepreneur for the past 20 years, consuming quite a bit of cloud resources, pretty much everywhere. And I met Arnaud about 13 months ago.
Yes, it's little more than 1 year now.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize you guys didn't know each other much longer than that. I thought that there was maybe more history there. That's really cool. Wow.
No, it's really cool. In fact,
and we fall in love.
You do have a bromance, and we might go into that a little bit later. So that's good.
We might or not. But what happened is that Scaleway was one of France's best kept secret. We talk about startups, we talk about scale-ups. Well, Scaleway had gone through a rebranding effort. So a lot of people didn't know Scaleway by name, and it had gone through a transformation. So I joined Scaleway after founding and growing a number of startup companies. And I met Arnaud, who had developed Scaleway to the point of where it is today. There's a bit of an echo, Ethan. No, that's okay. It's gone. And so Scaleway today, zoom forward 20 years after its foundation, is a fully formed cloud operator, providing the bare commodities, if you wish, from bare metal all the way to compute, storage, and transit. We do so with the best of our abilities to provide market standards. In other words, if you look at storage with S3 APIs, or if you look at Kubernetes container approach, then we do all of that. All these things, the best of the cloud is available at Scaleway. And so we are very stoked at the idea of, addressing the growing need, but we do so in a very specific way. We do not compromise on energy efficiency, for instance, sustainability. And so these things we can talk about, but we'll talk about within the context of the M1 as a service launch. But what makes Scaleway different is that we are also one of the rare, if not the only, triple play operator. Yeah, it's similar to our DNA, because as some of you might have picked up, we are also a subsidiary of the Iliad telecom operator, which was a pioneer of the triple play in the set-top box and ISP business. But triple play for us means that we operate data centers for clients in colocation businesses, and for ourselves, we operate a vast array of dedicated servers, and then the public cloud, which is an array of 40 plus products, which together create native cloud computing at scale. So we're also a hyperscaler. So in a nutshell, this is who we are.
Excellent. So Arnaud, I want us to dive into this subject around the M1 and what you guys have done there. But before I do that, I just wanted to let people know that, okay, so this is streaming on LinkedIn, it's on YouTube, it's on Twitter, and it's on Facebook. So it's all over the place. So wherever you're at, if you want to ask a question, you can ask the question in the comments of the stream that you're watching, or you can tweet it to either myself at Ethan Pierse, and I will put that up here for you, or you can put it at Scaleway as well. So if you tweet either myself or Scaleway, then we'll see those questions and we'll be able to bring them in at the later part of our live stream. If you do leave comments, we might see them as well, but it's just to make sure that we do see your questions. So to that point, why am I kind of also in this thing here in terms of why am I doing a live stream with you, and what's that all about? So for me, I've done a lot of different things in terms of digital marketing companies, e-commerce companies, and then had a stint in venture capital in Southeast Asia. Now I do a lot of media to support basically an advisory activity where I work with companies that are scaling regionally and globally, between whether it's across Europe and Southeast Asia or to the US, those kind of things, through my Borderless Ventures. Then I also have the Crypto Assets Institute, which is about helping organizations and corporates and funds understand things to do with the blockchain economy and crypto assets, tokenized securities, all those kind of lovely things, which don't have anything much to do with our conversation today, except it might come back because I had an interview today in a British newspaper about Bitcoin use, Bitcoin and the energy consumption that goes into mining, which potentially, touches on similar things that, it's not the same conversation, but there's a big discussion around sustainability and energy consumption and efficiency in these places. And so why am I connected to Scaleway? I'm not doing this because they're paying me. I'm doing this because I love the company, and well, we might talk about that later. But no, I'm kidding. But I'm doing this because I love the company, and more importantly, if you happen to be a startup and you need cloud computing resources, and really, who doesn't? So if you happen to be that, well, Startup has a Scaleway program. And it's my husband, Pascal, who runs it. So I am in love with Scaleway because I'm in love with someone at Scaleway. So that's why I'm here. And I'm so excited to have a chat with both of these gentlemen who are just great guys, but are building an amazing business. And so to that point, Arnaud, let's talk about the M1, how you had this idea and how you then turned it so quickly into a service, beating Amazon Web Services to it and creating something that has gotten a huge amount of community interest. Tell us all about that.
Oh, it's a very simple story. It started little more than 1 month ago. I had one of my guy, Johan, who asked me my credit card. It was something like Saturday at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Because we talked a long time before with Yann and with a lot of our colleagues. It can be great to do a product with it, but everybody was like, it will be complicated. It's very hard to make an automation with it. The installation will be painful. So. Okay, so this guy asked me my credit card. I didn't know why. And I received just a few minutes after a notification on my phone, and I understood what he did, because it was a notification about a payment to Apple, to the Apple Store. So I understand immediately, because the price make me remember something. And a few days later, he came with a Mac Mini at work, and he started to work on it in order to see, is it possible to do something with a Mac Mini and to to make an automatization of all the installation process in order to provide a product based on the M1 CPU. That's how it started, and with time, with weeks and nights and weekends, all our team succeed to automatize all the installation process of the M1 and to make it very not painful to manage. And with all this work, we are today able to provide M1-as-a-service available in few seconds, less than 5 minutes, for all our clients. And it's a huge success because, you know, Apple didn't make things simple for a use case like our use case. The installation process is very, very hard to automatize. So it's not easy at all. It was a real challenge. And near all the hosting provider and cloud provider worldwide trying to find the solution, to find the way to do it. So we made it. I'm very proud of what our team did. I'm very proud of all the work we did also with Apple. And it's I'm very proud of what we can propose to our clients right now. So this is a short story about how this project started 1 month ago.
But maybe you know, a little clue. Maybe we talk about that later. But one of the reasons why the M1 made sense for us, and we haven't talked about the Scaleway tagline, right? Scaleway is the cloud that makes sense. Why? Because we cannot dissociate cloud computing with energy consumption. We do not want to shy away from that debate. And the M1 is amazing in its ability to compute more and burn less energy, right? And this is also another of our mottos. How do we compute more? How do we pack more computing and consume less? And the M1 does just that. On top of our ability to do that at the data center level, the M1 is just astounding. So kudos to Apple, first of all, to surprise the entire industry, but we could not see what it meant for the actual overall impact. So when the team actually got together and actually proved they could do it, it made so much sense. It made so much sense.
And Apple did something completely amazing. You know, a Mac Mini in our typical use case is something between 6 to 8 watts. It's very small with a huge gap on CPU performances. So for a cloud provider like us, where the electricity bill is something expensive, where energy efficiency is something in our DNA, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And at the same time, we had more than 23 million of iOS and macOS developers who need to recompile all their application for the new platform. So there is, in one side, a big need by all the developers worldwide, and on the other side, there is something new, a breaking change. We are doing this work since a lot of time, since more than 15 years, and we saw all the generation of CPU at Intel, AMD, and as you already know, maybe most of you, we started Scaleway with the ARM architecture. It was maybe too early. It was 7 years ago, but we start with ARM V9 CPU a long time ago. And we strongly believe that things can be different and we can use different type of architecture. And it can make sense about power consumption, about the CPU power, and about the ecosystem we have around it. So it was a very good opportunity. Yann?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the stars aligned with the M1, basically. Yeah. And you know, we do bare metal. We do this day in, day out. And there was a challenge with this new architecture that Apple came up with. The Mac Mini is typically built for the homes, but Apple also has a provision in its contract that allows us to rent it for a period of 24 hours minimum. So we said, okay, well, Apple is definitely okay with that.
It's fair rules.
Yeah, it's fine. We can make a business case out of it. And guess what? When we launched, it was sold out in 10 minutes. In fact, that's one of the comments in the audience. Don't worry, there is stock coming in, and there is some recycling. Some people are using the Mac Mini temporarily to test some assumptions. Some people are already long-term. It's been a week. So while we do not know what people exactly do, we have an idea why they are interested. And so there is a variety of use cases from what people have told us. And a lot of them vary. So some people will take a Mac Mini for a short period of time, 24 hours, maybe 30, and others will take it for months at a time for specific CI/CD use cases. So no worries, there's going to be more. Just sign up for the out of stock form.
Everybody have to understand that we really had a huge success with a lot of articles about this new product. It was completely unexpected. We was sold out in less than 10 minutes, and we put additional stocks every day. So yes, we will need some time. As you know, the first delivery we get from Apple, it was during Christmas time, and it was not so easy. There is a COVID context, and they had a huge demand during the Christmas holidays. So we are expecting, and we hope to receive as much as possible M1 to deliver everybody.
So if we look at the fact that you guys were first to market in this, AWS, for example, has Intel Mac Minis. Why is it so important why is it such a big deal that you were able to get the M1 out there? If it's just one or two little things, why does this amazing innovation and such an important thing to get to market quickly and available for people?
It's a good question. Yeah, you would like to start?
Well, I mean, I can talk about this one because I don't have all the nitty-gritty details, so I can't disclose too much. Arnaud has the nitty-gritty details, but essentially, this is a device that is not like a Intel-based PC where we have decades of traditional desktop and cloud types of architectures where it's configured so that you can remotely manage it. You can use KVM architectures to manage things remotely. The Mac environment is actually not configured for the cloud. And so it's tricky. It doesn't work out of the box in order to reinstall the machine from a distance. So what we did and what the team did, and Arnaud has the details. I'm not sure he's going to share all of the details, but
no.
A lot of it is very, very clever. And the team has been extremely clever in a short period of time to come up with a way that makes it possible, industrially speaking, to have fleets, thousands of Mac Mini M1s,
in remote,
managed remotely as bare metal. And that's a tour de force, as we say in French.
And about the Mac Mini Intel, there is no argument to have a Mac Mini Intel as bare metal server, as the power consumption is too high. There is no breaking change about the CPU. The environment is not needed right now by developers, and they can cross-compile on M1 for the Intel platform. So the good choice was to concentrate all our efforts on the M1 Mac Mini, because M1 Mac Mini is a real breaking change for all the development architecture and the performances per watt. The performances per watt is completely amazing. And for a cloud provider like us, we consume more than 40 megawatts. That's a lot. So when there is an opportunity on the market with such low power consumption, we have to have a look on it. That's 100% sure. So about the automatization, yes, it was a real challenge. As I said before, Apple didn't make things easy for this kind of usage, because as macOS environment is not made for that. It's not made for a server environment. It's not made for remote management. It's not made for a fully automated installation system. So yes, they have MDM, they have other kind of things in order to make life of administrator easier, but it's not enough for our case. So yes, we had to think a lot. We had to hack a lot, a lot of tricks. We had to manage the keyboard externally. We have to press enter, enter, tab, tab, tab. It's not easy at all. As you know, when you just plug on a Mac Mini, the first things the Mac asks you is a keyboard and a mouse. So imagine the same thing in a data center without any keyboard, without any mouse. So yes, it was a real challenge. We can't say more because, as you know, most of our competitors are actually working since many months on the same project, and we can't say exactly how we did it because we are in advance on the market, and we would like to keep this advance as long as possible. But I'm sure in few months we will make a special webinar to explain technically how we did it, and I think a lot of people will laugh a lot and will realize how hard it was to just do something like this.
That's awesome. So I just want to address one of the questions that's in the chat room, because somebody asked if we were doing this in French. And so, non, on fait ça en anglais aujourd'hui, mais si vous avez une question en français, n'hésitez pas à mettre ça dans les commentaires et on peut répondre au moins en anglais ici dans notre live stream ou par commentaire. So sorry, but this is the English version of what we're doing today, but so glad that you tuned in and that you're here. So I'm not sure who wants to take this one. Oh, yes.
And next week, I will organize a Q&A, a technical Q&A, and it will be in French. So just follow me on Twitter. I think it's on Tuesday. I don't remember exactly I think it's Tuesday or Thursday. I don't remember. But we will organize a special technical Q&A and in French with all the team who worked on the Mac Mini M1. So if you prefer in French, you can connect next week. I will provide a special link.
Okay, fantastic. So you touched on this just a little bit, but I just as maybe to talk a little bit more about, what is really the difference between having an M1 Mac Mini and any other dedicated server solution that you offer at Scaleway?
I'll pick this one up. If you use a Mac, typically as a developer, you use it either to compile for non-Mac projects, or if you're a Mac OS or iOS app developer, you need a Mac. You need a Mac to build using Xcode, and that's essentially what you do on your own device. Now, larger teams, especially during COVID, but also more and more so, teams are working remotely, distributed. And so there's no such thing as a Mac in the office. There needs to be a Mac somewhere to compile the work of developers working together as a team that is pushed to GitHub, for instance. And there is something called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, that takes the code that is pushed to these repository and compiles it so that the app itself is ready anytime, as soon as someone pushes code. So it's a systemation, it's a systematic automation of the developer's pipeline. And so that's a great use case. And in fact, as Arnaud said, the Mac Mini M1 is super efficient, but also it cross-compiles. So whatever is produced by the Mac Mini M1 for the ARM architecture is also available on Intel architecture at the same time. So that's one very clear use case that is specific to iOS, macOS development, which is available on a Mac Mini M1, which compared to the rest of our products is in fact very different, right? The Mac Mini is a Mac in itself. It's not a virtual machine. It's the Mac that comes with the latest version of Big Sur, macOS Big Sur, with Xcode pre-installed, So they get a machine almost out of the box. On the other side, we have many other products which are typically used for building a back-end architecture, right? So it's a different use case. But it turns out that a lot of macOS and iOS developers, they also need to build a back-end infrastructure. So we have all the goods for them.
So thank you for the answer, and I have two questions. I'm not sure who. I think the first one is going to be Arnaud, and then the second one we'll see which one wants to jump in on that. But for Arnaud, did you use a USB keyboard emulator in order to accomplish the magic?
I received a lot of questions about this because a lot of people saw that there is something on the USB 3 on the Mac Mini. I can't give any details, but we have something on the USB port, of course. As I said before, it's impossible to do anything with the Mac Mini without any keyboard and mouse. So yes, there is something. You have to understand that we provide a pure Mac OS X Big Sur experience. It is the system as it is installed by default. It's not an image. It's not. It's the operating system with nothing. There is no virtualization. It's a completely bare metal server. So we had to do some tricks in order to be able to use the Apple installation system by default as a new Mac OS X operating system. I'm sorry to not be able to give more details about it, but yes, it's this kind of tricks, and there's a lot of tricks like this. Yeah.
Stefan, I hope that helped of your question. Another question that's technical, since I have you on the screen, Arnaud, and I'm not sure if it's exactly if this is something that we've dealt with yet or not, but Stefan had also asked, if I build Docker on an M1, will it run on any ARM Linux device?
No, it won't, because the library, the C library of Apple is not the same as Linux. It's a GNU library, so it's not exactly the same. There is some good news, because the Linux community did amazing work. It was, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, and they have a first kernel version with working on the Mac Mini. There's some troubles with the network adapter and this kind of thing, because it's a SOC. So inside the SOC, it's not so easy to integrate a driver and to be able to communicate with it. So there's a lot of things with actually happening, and I hope that Linux will be available in a stable condition soon. I'm pretty sure that we will not have the same performances as Mac OS X, because Mac OS and Apple did an amazing job, especially around Rosetta 2. Something completely crazy. Really, I'm very impressed. I'm a developer a long time before, and I'm still a developer, and I'm very impressed by what they did. And the cross byte compilation is something really amazing. So if you compile your Docker container on a Mac OS X M1, it will work only on Mac OS X M1. That's 100% sure. I'm sorry.
That's great. Thank you. And I know we addressed it before, but there's a couple questions that come in from different places. And just is there any timeline idea about the restocking, or is that something that we don't know yet?
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
We deliver every day. We deliver every day. Not enough. We need to restock a lot. We are still waiting for deliveries, and we have to industrialize all the process, because our success is unexpected. So all our team are actually focused to be able to deliver as much as possible Mac Mini in the cloud. Yann, if you would like to say something else.
And people who are interested to get one, they need to be on the lookout, because they are being released as we go, typically in incremental periods of 24 hours at first. and then 25, 26, 27, 28 hours, and so on and so forth. So we don't know. Clients might release one just now. I can look up if there's any stock right now, but typically it happens all day long as we go along. There is some units available, but we cannot predict it.
And also we have a waiting list. So if you wish M1, please subscribe and put your email in the waiting list, and we'll be very pleased to contact you as soon as we have some stocks.
Excellent, thank you. So before I ask the next question, I just wanted to encourage again anybody who is watching that would like to leave a comment or tweet their questions to us at Scaleway. We can get to those as fast as we can here. You can use hashtag M1-as-a-service if you want to put that in there. And the yeah, I think
I can see some question and it's make me laugh.
And so. And on that idea as well, if you're watching this and you're enjoying, please do share the live stream, and that other people might join in and be able to watch it as well. But since it is a live stream that's being saved, you'll be able to watch this after the live stream is over as well. So as far as the next question, Scaleway's tagline is compute more and burn less. So in the context of everything around energy efficiency and sustainability, you've already touched on the fact that the M1 will help with that. But in this larger ideal, where is the, with the M1 as well, with these new architectures that are being used and other innovations that are coming, general thoughts about where we're going in terms of cloud computing and all these different tools from a sustainability perspective, because it does amount to a significant amount of energy. At the same time, people want to watch their Netflix and they want to order things on Amazon, and they want to be able to use Facebook and all those servers. So who would like to dive in
perhaps,
on that?
I'll start, and then Arnaud can follow up, because he's the guru on this particular topic. But the tagline for us, again, our tagline is the cloud that makes sense. That's the overarching. Now, compute more, burn less is a motto that resonates with the fact that cloud computing does consume a lot of energy. That is a fact. Now, the good news is that cloud consumption proportion cloud consumption energy in terms of proportion of the overall energy spent is fairly flat in terms of percentage. So we're talking 1-2% overall,
yes,
over the past decade or so.
It depends on the studies. It's between 1 and 4% of the worldwide power consumption.
But the internet, that's a lot, right? It's a lot, but it's stable in the sense that internet consumption has gone exponential. So while we use the internet and the cloud exponentially, so the cloud consumption energy is fairly reasonably flat proportionally. But because we consume more energy planet-wide, that keeps on growing in absolute terms, number one. And number two, it represents a lot of energy. So for us, a cloud provider, we are very much aware that this energy is being consumed. In fact, you know what? We pay the bills, and it's a lot of money. So as an industrial player, we are so fully aware of what it means that we do best efforts to optimize it. Now, for us, this is also a very critical issue to reflect upon, because Scaleway is 330 people, more or less. Day after day, we work on the cloud. We build features. We deliver and deploy data centers. And we need to think carefully about what we're doing with this, right? We do not believe that there is a way out of technology, in a sense that we are a connected society in 2021, and we are leveraging those tools for better and for worse, but mostly for better. And we are growing with it. But we cannot shy away from these issues. So we're not about greenwashing. Greenwashing for us is actually counterproductive. There's maybe sometimes a discourse about the energy consumption that talks about compensation. Well, we are not about compensation. We're about carbon zero.
We don't plant any trees.
Yeah, we don't plant trees because we don't compensate. We burn less. We burn less energy, and we
Greener
burn less.
energy you have is the energy you don't consume.
Exactly.
That's easy.
So the planet is burning to some extent. We are burning less the planet while being in the conversation when it comes to the modern digital society. But Arnaud is a key architect for this innovation for the past decades.
But you said all the essentials. Power consumption is a real concern for us because one is very expensive and it's more and more expensive. Energy is expensive. It's not unlimited. We have more and more taxes on it. And the second point,
time out. There is one Mac available right now. Just popped up. Go for it. I don't know who was asking. There is one unit available. Go for it.
Going. No, still there.
It's a real-time notification about our stocks. So the first point is, yes, it's expensive and it's more and more expensive energy. And the second point is all the environmental concern. And as we said, the greener energy we can have is the energy we don't use, we don't consume. So we worked a lot on the data center side. We innovate a lot with DC5 data center, and it's just the beginning. You know, when on a data center you don't use 40% of the energy to just cool down the cloud, it's a really massive impact. And the second side is the servers. If you use maybe 1 or 2 megawatts with traditional Intel CPU, we use 100 watts each server. It's it's massive. And if you can have the MEM CPU power for just 6 watts, yes, this can be another side of what we can do about our responsibility and the planet we leave for our child. Yeah, that's sure.
Excellent. Thank you. There's a question that was brought up then about using the Mini M1 as in terms of remote desktop usage, and the question was about VLC and frame rate. So if I'm actually using this in your data center, what am I going to see on my screen if I'm watching a movie or playing a game or something like that?
60 frames per second, low latency.
4K. Yes, and 4K, and the guy was in US, East Coast. So performances are better than expected.
So we had a few beta testers, someone whom we know very well, who's very, very demanding. He actually has a very complex CI/CD pipeline, but he also uses the Mac visually to configure everything at first. And so he tried it from Europe, and he had almost zero latency, very, very smooth. We had a software developer from the East Coast in the US, independent developer, and they, that's it. The one unit has gone. I hope, Prince Saini, you got it for yourself. This is real-time provisioning, people. So yeah, there's a piece of software called Jump. Was this?
Yes,
name?
it's Jump. Yeah.
And so this is a piece of software that actually funnels through not just the VNC equivalent, but the sound that comes out of the Mac. So you have the full-fledged, smooth 60 frames per second experience plus sound, which allows you to test games or even stream content, video content. Very smooth. I'll try and send you the link to this piece of software, Ethan. Maybe you can just put it in the notes.
Excellent. So while we're looking at the other questions that are here, and congratulations to whoever got the latest M1 that was available there. Good timing. So just digging through questions here to see what the next most interesting was. Actually, I think in terms of questions,
There's a question of Stefan about Node.js, VS
Okay.
Java.
If you want to take the technical question on, go for it.
Yes, and I'm agree with you, Stefan Chapereau. Software is also a good way to save CPU. See Node.js, VS Java. Yes, I'm agree with you. I'm totally agree with you. And the CPU have a lot of things to do with this because, for example, on ARM platform, you have special instruction. The special instruction is Neon, who make Java application faster and less CPU intensive. It's just an example, but yes, of course, nothing will replace a low-level code base and software. That's true. I'm agree with you, Stefan.
And I think we know Stefan because he's been a long-time client of ours. So, Stefan, very happy that you joined us here, and feel free to try the M1.
I have another question. Do you have a project for PS5 bare metal? I don't know. I think it's the same difficulty to get some stocks of PS5 than Mac Mini. You know.
So that kind of goes with the next idea of what will Scaleway hack next. I know you don't talk about roadmap, but is there anything exciting that's in your ideas or that you do want to share?
The application that I was mentioning earlier is called Jump Desktop.
Okay. Excellent. So we can post that in the comments on the live streams on Facebook and LinkedIn and as a tweet as well if people want to follow and see the project. Excellent. Well, so Arnaud, since I've got you on the screen, we're going to open up, or we're going to kind of close up with our questions and just kind of wrap things up. So is there one last thought that you'd like to share about the M1 project, about cloud computing in general, sustainability, Europe, all these wonderful things that are, your daily life at Scaleway? Is there something that you'd like to share with our audience before we go? And then, I'll actually think.
Oh, okay. Because I have some more news to tell.
Okay.
You can sell Yann. Go ahead.
There is one more. There's one more Mac Mini available now.
So we've got like an auction service going on here. I could turn this into something. This is pretty cool. We're doing this in real time. It's great. Well, maybe Yann then on the larger ideas about cloud computing, sustainability, Europe, GDPR, AWS, GAFA. There's so many things out there that we can talk about. We don't have hours to talk, but is there anything that you'd like to just, in the context of our conversation today, share to kind of just round out our conversation and close things out?
Well, earlier you asked us why AWS was not able to produce this first. We like those guys, they're pretty good, to be frank. But big tech companies are too big for their own good. They're too big for their own good. And so, other companies such as Scaleway actually are pretty cool too, right? We have the goods, we have the spirit, and that's
the velocity.
The velocity.
We have the velocity to make some huge innovation.
Yeah. And so we are here to actually please our clients, to deliver the platforms that they need to build their businesses with things that they expect. In other words, we're not in the business of saying, oh, you should use our technology because we're better. No, that's not the issue. The issue is we have technology that is relevant, that it makes sense, that people can build a proper architecture on, and we do not compromise on quality. Now, that being said, we also have our own way, the Scaleway, and we do so when it comes to sustainability. We do so by rolling out the Mac Mini M1, and we've got more to come. And this is what defines us. So there is plenty of room for a number of players, and the cloud business, the cloud industry is growing at a double digit year on year. So that makes it very interesting for us.
It's a $300 billions market. There's a lot of things to do. Actually, the market is mostly more than 80% three American actors, and we strongly believe as a European actor, as a French company, that we are able to do something different, to do something with a lot of technology. In France, we are very lucky. We have a lot of very, very nice engineers. We have a lot of talents. We can do, and we continue to do a lot of innovation. And so this project is just a beginning, and we have a lot of things to do.
And there is one more unit just now available.
Excellent, excellent. Well, very good. So I think we've wrapped up our kind of last thoughts there on the things that we wanted to be discussing. But if there is anything that you want to talk about, Yann or Arnaud, we're good. We've hit all the points you'd like to hit.
Yeah, and clearly, I mean, we're fairly accessible. We are a human-sized company. Arnaud and I are very accessible when it comes to very cool projects. People should feel free to challenge us. We take feedback any day, anytime.
All the time. We read all the social network. Yann and me, we always answer. We always take care of all the reviews, all the good ideas you can have. There is a special website, featuresrequest.scaleway.com. You can use it. You can provide some ideas, some needs, some painful things you would like to resolve with us. So please interact. We need you. We need your advice. We need your needs, and we will be very, very pleased to think about it and to make it a product if we can answer it.
There is a cool video that we made. I don't know if people have seen it. There's a pretty cool video which is available on our YouTube channel. But if you'd like maybe to just close up with the logo, because it didn't work with intro.
No, it should work on our way out, and definitely do check out the video, because we had a lovely conversation on Clubhouse about the purple beret. So please do check. It's a great video about the team, showing them make this thing and get excited. So thank you guys so much, Yann, Arnaud. I appreciate your time. And
thank you, Ethan, for the organization. It's really great. And
thanks, Ethan.
Yeah, of course, with pleasure.
You are so cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm. We might have, I think we're having a little bit of a network hiccup there. So I'm going to run our ending credits here to say goodbye. And I hope that all is well. Take care, and we will talk very soon.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thanks.
Thanks.